This is Spiritual Mamas Podcast. We're a couple of mamas out here just trying to raise kids, make it through a workday, and navigate mental health issues, all while going through a spiritual awakening. And we thought we'd take you with us. So grab your favorite cozy drink and let's chat.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Kim. I'm Aericka.
I'm Kim.
And this is Spiritual Mamas Podcast.
Welcome.
Anyway, it's the morning. I'm not a morning person. Not really an evening person either.
Right? We're trying something a little different today, so.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, well, welcome back. So let's do a check-in because apparently I need one. So how are you?
I am doing okay. I'm actually feeling pretty positive right now. I actually, it's just dawning on me right at this moment. I don't know much about astrology and all of that, but we were talking a little bit about it last time. There's this massive transition happening. Pluto's going into the fixed signs. I am a fixed sign. I'm an Aquarius, and I hear on both sides. I hear things that are saying that it's going to be really awful for the next 20 years. And I hear things that are saying it's going to be really great for the next 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
But I think that's supposed to be happening sometime around today. And today I'm feeling good. So I'm going to hope for the best for the next 20 years.
Yeah, I heard that the fixed signs are going to be doing what the other signs were doing for the last 16 to 20 years, which wasn't good apparently.
Yeah. There's lots of I don't know, I keep hearing the words karmic debt and transformation, which sounds awful.
Yeah.
It sounds scary. But I am feeling good in this moment, so I'm going to hope that this is the energy that I bring into whatever comes next.
Well, there you go, because today is all about that, so we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm doing good. Did you do the full moon ceremony? Yeah.
I did. I have my moon water over there. Well, half of it because I've watered my plant. I definitely charged my crystals. I had my journaling done. I did. How was it for you?
Good. I did my first one and it was very exciting. I was just having fun doing it.
Yeah.
I did drink my moon water, most of it, and I put some in one of my plants. And I charged my crystals. And yeah, so I think it went well. I want to do it again and actually put more into it now that I kind of know what you're supposed to be doing. Just put a little bit more into it just because I think it's good. I do feel more grounded. I feel like it grounded me, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I think that was good.
Cool.
So, all right. So like you said, wanting to be positive and going with that and carrying that energy forward is good, because today we're talking about vibration and why the fuck do we care about vibrations?
Tell me.
So I had heard this before, but not really kind of understanding all of it. So we had brought it up a couple episodes ago and I was like, I want to know more.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine actually started texting me as well. Thank you. You know who you are. All this information. So it just kind of sent me down even more information. And really, I think we have to start with some quantum physics, which is a little rough at first thing in the morning, but bear with me. I'm going to try my best. And so everybody knows about Isaac Newton, right? So Isaac Newton, he was considered the grandfather of physics. And what he thought was, okay, everything in nature and in the world has its own properties and they live by certain principles and equal and reactive energies and stuff like that. So that was the original thought.
Yeah.
Is that it's calculable, it's provable, and there was another scientist, which I should have written down. I totally forgot his name. It started with a D. I'll look it up and figure out how to put it in the show notes. But he like kind of went off of what Newton was saying, but he couldn't figure out anything with the mind. He couldn't figure out how that worked.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, the mind and spirituality and that sort of stuff, that's to the church.
Okay.
That's their realm. And, science, that's our realm. And they're two separate things. Like matter and mind are two separate things. Now, fast forward hundreds of years, I don't know, however long. And Albert Einstein started talking about how everything is energy.
Yeah.
And that, let's see, what's his quote? The quote is, everything is energy and that's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was meaning that there's research that shows that everything is vibrating at a certain frequency, including thoughts, emotions, and physical objects.
Right.
We know this because we have these electron microscopes and these even more powerful microscopes now that we could do studies on atoms.
Mm-hmm.
And initially we thought that atoms, like had a nucleus, and the electrons were spinning around it kind of like a planet.
Yes.
In like an orbit. And that we could study that orbit and they're always going in the same place.
Yes. I remember learning these things.
Yeah, like the old styrofoam models.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're picturing in your mind like that little swirly thing. Yeah. That's what we thought. But what they found is that if you go deep in, instead of like those orbits, it's more of a cloud.
Okay.
And we can't predict where these little electrons are moving. And in fact, they're only observable if you're looking at them.
Okay.
They found that if the researcher turned their head, stopped looking at it, didn't point the microscope, they disappeared.
Oh.
If you went and looked for it, they would appear.
Okay.
Which is wild. Right? Really wild. So the kind of theory is that, and it's called the observer effect. The person observing the particles that make up atoms affects the behavior of energy and matter. But only when someone focuses on the attention on that electron does it make any effect.
Okay, you need to give me a moment because this is a little bit blowing my mind. I feel like this is stuff that I know, but I didn't realize in this way. What comes to mind immediately is Schrodinger's cat. Is the cat alive or not alive if it's in a box?
Right, because you can't see it, right? That's what it is? Okay.
Because you can't see it. So you don't know until you open that box. The other thing that comes to mind is that saying that people say, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make any sound? Well, if you're there, it's going to make sound. You assume that it makes sound when you're not there, but if it's making sound because you're there,
right,
then it doesn't necessarily mean that it is.
But we don't know because we're not there to observe it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So it is, trust me, it's crazy. So they've done some studies, and I'm not really going to list them because they're small studies.
Yeah.
And I'm not big on that coming from a scientific background. I want big studies with big results.
Yeah.
But they do have results, and I found them interesting. And one of them was done by a person who he had people holding test tubes.
Okay.
With DNA in it.
Okay.
And he had one group of people hold it and have good feelings, just positive feelings, love, positive things. And observed what happened to the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
The next group was one that was setting intentions.
Okay.
And held it. The third group set intentions and had good feelings about it.
Okay.
And that group was supposed to think about the DNA either coiling or uncoiling.
Okay.
That group specifically was supposed to do that. And what they found was that the two groups that either had an intention but no feeling, or had feeling but no intention,
Mm-hmm.
nothing happened.
Okay.
Nothing good or bad. Nothing happened to the DNA. The group that had the positive emotions and the intent,
Mm-hmm.
they found that the DNA either coiled
Mm-hmm.
or uncoiled by 25%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. I'm at a loss for words. I feel like I'm wondering words. I am wondering how that would, if at all, correlate to new moms and their babies. And when you are like skin to skin contact and holding your baby and, exuding love and positivity and wanting the best for your child, for you, for the life moving forward. I wonder if that has an effect there.
Oh, it has to.
Yeah.
It has to. So the part of the other theory is that you can bring into effect the reality you want by focusing on it, because all energy exists in multiple possibilities. So the theory is, because that observer effect, because we can't predict where that molecule is going, that in theory, all possibilities are possible.
Yeah.
So if you focus on something, you, in theory, can make it happen. You can make that reality happen. Now, you can't just think about it. Like, you have to put intent and thought and energy into making that reality.
Yeah.
And that could go positive and negative.
Right.
Because if you think about it, oftentimes we don't think negatively on purpose, but we do. And if you are constantly focusing on something negative, it's going to happen. Some way or another, something negative is going to happen. And we've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen that in our practices, in our jobs.
Yeah, definitely.
In mental health and in physical health too. I've seen it from a physical standpoint. When someone focuses on their illness, that is their reality. I've seen it for myself. If I have a whole laundry list, we've talked about this before, I have a whole laundry list of things that are physically wrong with me.
Yeah.
If I put my energy into thinking about that, I would be laying in bed crippled. Like, I wouldn't be able to function. But because that's not my reality to myself, I feel it's because that isn't my reality.
Yeah.
My reality is I'm high functioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I can see that, because how you react to that. What's the energy that you're putting out there? How are you perceiving yourself and your day and going about your day based on those thoughts, exactly, based on what you are manifesting, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that if something bad happens to you or that you're sick, that it's your fault.
Right.
Absolutely not what I'm saying, because that's not the truth. But how you handle what has happened or is happening to you makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And even if previously you handled it or didn't handle it in a more negative way, doesn't mean you can't now change how you think about it, how your next reality is going to be.
Yeah.
You have that power. And I feel a lot of people don't feel that way. They feel that this is what's happening to me, this is my existence, and this is ever will be. But according to the science, at least the theoretical science, that's not true.
Yeah.
And that we can change our reality.
Yeah.
So I was reading this book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that far into it, and it's already blown my freaking mind right now. But the whole thought that you can literally put into existence what you think and feel and put energy towards is just insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that whatever reality, whatever future you think is for you is going to be for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that. The way that I've always thought about it though is not that, oh, if I think bad things are for me, bad things are going to be for me, but by not purposefully thinking good things are for me, then I'm leaving it open to anything, and that could just be something negative, that could be something unwanted, it could be something surprising, it could be whatever. But when I'm purposefully searching for the positive, and I find like in small ways that I do that. So we went on vacation a couple years ago, and I had decided before that trip, we were going with a big group of people, and I had decided before that trip that it didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter if it rained every day. It didn't matter if we didn't get to do any of the things we wanted to do. It didn't matter if there was all of these obstacles with travel. It didn't matter what was going to happen. I was going to have a good time on that trip. And then we get there, and it did rain a lot, and there was lots of arguments because there was a big group of people, and there was all of this stuff happening, and it didn't matter. I was happy to be on the trip with people I cared about.
There you go.
And that came into fruition. That was a good time. So that's the way that I kind of view it. When you're intentionally putting that, this is my goal, this is my desired outcome, this is what I'm looking for, then that's what you can create.
Yeah. And I think everybody who has a goal in their life has done this in some way without realizing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I woke up one day and decided I was going to be a nurse. So I made that happen. I researched how to do it. I got into school. I worked my butt off and I did it.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. So I researched and did that goal. I made that goal. So I think that everybody kind of does this, but don't realize how powerful and how specific we can do this.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So bringing it back to how this makes sense as far as vibration and why we hear this a lot in kind of the spiritual realm is because, again, everything is vibrating, everything is kind of moving in some way, and everything apparently has a frequency. And that frequency can either be a high frequency or a low frequency. And that can be anything from crystals to, I don't know, well, electronics, to thoughts, emotions. And there's this interesting scale of consciousness that's put in a book. Hold on, let me find what book that was. Again, my friend sent this to me. Appreciate it. It's by Dr. David Dawkins. He wrote a number of books, but he wrote The Power versus Force. And he has this scale of consciousness. And at the top of this like kind of scale is enlightenment, which is at 700, frequency of 700. And the lowest on this particular scale is shame, which is 20. So the theory is anything over 200 on the frequency scale makes things easier and like uplifts your energy. And anything 200 and below zaps your energy, takes your energy from you.
Yeah.
So we had kind of posited one of these episodes that when you're depressed and you're feeling crappy, your vibration is low, so it's hard to slog through life.
Yeah.
That's kind of literal. Because to feel anger, to feel fear, to feel depressive, to feel these bad emotions, it's taking your energy away. Which is why it's so hard to do things.
Yeah.
The other thing that when you are living at the highest vibration you can, then you're more receptive to intuition. You're more tuned into yourself and your feelings. You feel calmer. You have more clarity and in a better mood. And then whenever you have these things, you have better emotional and mental well-being. Also, physical health is improved. And it's thought that the higher vibrational states can help people access higher realms and connect with spiritual energies, which is what we've been trying to do.
Yeah.
So to put that in a bow, basically, when your vibrations are higher, it clears your body and your mind to be able to be receptive to intuition and to be receptive to smaller things, like perceive things that are more subtle, and kind of be able to think about what they are and understand them a little bit more.
I love that. And I think just as you're describing that, it really highlights how much this is already there and we're all already capable of it. And we need to become aware of that and be able to unlock it, find the tools that we can use to put us in that direction, to keep us in that higher frequency, to recognize when we're being bogged down by lower frequency things, lower vibration things. Yeah, I think that's really like beautiful to kind of recognize that, oh, this is something that we could just do.
Yeah. And that's why people say, I've heard people say this, and I kind of was like, oh, I don't know. That's why people say that everybody has the ability to be intuitive. Everybody has the ability to have these like clairs, the clear everything. It's just whether you're tapped into it or not. And I was kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't know that everybody can. But the more, if you really look at it, it's a matter of recognizing it and then cultivating it and want to cultivate it.
Yeah. And there's definitely like work that needs to go into that, regardless of where you are, whatever that practice might look like. I feel the same because I think you and I have had this conversation before on like, what is, what would I define my abilities as, my clairs as, or something like that. And I don't know. And I feel sometimes I feel like I don't know because I don't know if I'm not recognizing it. Like I'm just not aware enough. Sometimes I feel like I don't know because that feels fraudulent.
Like the imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Like what? No, that's not. So, but when I get those hits, when I get those moments where it's like, oh, this and this is connecting. Oh, you did see that. Oh, you did, think of that, or whatever the case is. You knew that was going to happen. Those moments, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is what is possible, but how connected can I be to that vibration, to myself, to this intuition?
Yeah. Well, part of it I think is a little overthinking.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Thank you, anxiety.
But and we just briefly, we talked about that you can have all the clairs, but some are just more what's the word?
Pronounced.
Yeah. More developed.
Yeah.
There you go. And some people find that the more they work in this field and do the work on this, the more clairs that they can have, like that they then have. Yeah. So that's kind of the gist of what I got. So next question is, or do you have any other thoughts on any of that?
And not at the moment. I'm sure that I do.
I know. That was a lot. That was a lot for a morning little discussion, but here we go. So what can we do to help increase our vibrations? And one of the things is we already did this weekend is we worked on grounding and doing the full moon ceremony. Help clear our energies and stuff like that. So basically we need to work on things that are going to help lift our mood. and get rid of negative energy. Because when we have negative energy, it decreases our vibration, and then we can't be as in tune.
Right.
So kind of going back to the changing the reality and changing our perception, I think kind of a baby step into that, which I think everybody can do, is affirmations. And I've been doing affirmations, but not maybe necessarily with as much intention or thought behind it. Just kind of repeating the words.
Yeah.
Now that I know some of this, I'm obviously going to be like going into it. But what affirmations are supposed to change, 1, how you're thinking, 2, the energy you're putting out there, and then 3, the thoughts towards the reality you want. So by doing the affirmations, you're able to then manifest. And that could be manifesting a better mood, all the way to manifesting money, to manifesting a new job. Because going back to whatever we focus on, there are infinite possibilities. Whatever that possibility is that we're focusing on, we can change it. So how I do affirmations is I literally go to YouTube and put in the affirmation that I want to do.
Yeah.
For 1 month, I was doing abundance affirmations, and it was all about money comes easily to me. Money is fun and exciting to get and make. And, you know, I'm open to whatever wealth and abundance comes to me, these type of things. And it sounds really weird to say, like, money is fun to make, you know, those type of things. But I think saying the words out loud, putting it into the ether or whatever you want to call it, into the world, into the space, puts it out there.
Yeah.
And I think whatever you put out there, I feel like kind of is the vibe. Yeah. Literally is the vibe, you know?
Yeah.
If I'm putting out there that, well, I'm poor and I can't make money and this sucks, then that's going to be my reality to a degree. I mean, obviously you can't just sit here and be like, well, I want to make money, so therefore I'm going to make money. I mean, that doesn't really work that way. But I think
quite that simple.
Yeah, it's not quite that simple. But I think the more you say it and the more that you focus on it, that maybe some of that reality will happen.
Yeah.
So I did that for the month. And then this month I'm doing, is it positivity? Positivity affirmations. Like, I'm in a good mood, basically.
Yeah.
Like, my day's good.
Yeah.
I'm in a good mood. All good things are happening to me. You know, those type of things. And those are harder because it's like, I'm in a good mood. I am a loving person. I am energized. Because I tend to say these things as I'm getting ready in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm literally like half awake, not even have my coffee in me, going, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it starts it. As I say it, then it's like, okay, I said it. Like, let's put some oomph behind it. Let's not just be meh. Because if I didn't start out my day saying it, then maybe it wouldn't be the truth. You know, maybe I would have just started my day going, ugh, you know, this sucks. And today's a day and I had to get up and I have to go to work and I have to do this. You know, at least starting by trying some positivity.
Right.
Even if it's a little bit and have very little oomph behind it, I feel like at least it's something.
It gives you just that spark to keep going with that energy behind it.
Yeah. And it got me thinking about kind of, like you said, like the moms.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen online the moms doing the little girl's hair? And as she's saying it, she's like, I am beautiful. I am strong.
Yeah.
Oh, makes you cry. But think about that. Oh my gosh. If every parent did that to their child, and she looks so happy, little girl, you know, like she's so excited to say those things. And if they say that to each other every morning, it's gotta do something.
Yeah.
You know, it's gotta be positive, because there is studies on what you say to your kids is what they hear, you know, and becomes their narrative. Now, let's not all get anxious because we've all yelled at our kids and like worried that we ruin their lives. But
yeah,
in general, if you speak good things to them and are there for them and supportive, then therefore they're going to get that energy. They're going to get that vibe. Back to this, you know, the vibration. Our vibrations wear off on people too. If we're speaking and trying to act at a higher vibration and raising our own vibration, it's going to affect everybody around you. So
that's absolutely true. I mean, and you think about that, you know, walking into a room and the people in the room were just celebrating something and you can like feel that energy, or they were just arguing and you can feel that pull down. Or if you were completely off from somebody else. I had an experience once in a previous position that I would always go to work and just be like, okay, I'm here to do my job. Like, I'm just going to get it done, whatever that looks like. And then I would have people around me that were like super upbeat, and that's like too much for me. I wasn't in that space. And people that were like super down and like, I hate this place. And that also wasn't. And it kept me in this small little box, because it's like, I don't want to be around the people that are super excited because I'm not there. And I don't want to be around the people that are super low because I'm not there. I just want to stay in my lane.
You're like, can I be in a middle round somewhere, middle ground, somebody beat me.
Yes. And in that space, it was very evident to me that you can absolutely feel and absorb. And it's like, I don't want to be pulled down and I'm not quite ready to be pulled up. So
yeah. So you're probably literally like slogging through the day because the energies just kind of weren't there.
Yeah.
Which I have experienced, especially at jobs. My last job, toxic. The minute I walked in there, I was angry. Just baseline angry. The minute I got there. And I was just angry the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
Because everybody else was. And it just, from the patients to the administration, to the MAs, to the providers, I mean, everybody was just like, you know, stressed and angry. And so therefore I was stressed and angry the whole time I was there. And I'd leave and I was fine. And I was like, I don't want to be here. And which was such kind of a transition. And the job wasn't stressful here. The job, for me anyways, was easy. This particular job.
Yeah.
The last job before that, I worked in a hospital as a hospital. It's like someone who like kind of ran the floors, like as a provider.
Right.
Very stressful job. Very like acute and have to be on top of your game. And you would think would be horribly stressful, which it was. But I loved the people I worked with. Loved them. And we had fun.
Yeah.
While we were there, which made the job fun.
Yeah.
Even though we were in extremely high stress situations, people literally like trying to die on us. But we had fun because we vibed so well. We connected so well.
Yeah.
And I actually picked up a shift last weekend because I still kind of periodically pick up shifts at the hospital. And I got to work with that group that I normally work with, who I haven't seen almost in a year.
Wow.
Because I kept working with a different group this last couple times I picked up. So happy. I was smiling and laughing the whole time. I was only there for a few, like maybe 8 hours. And we were smiling and laughing. And I was in such a good mood.
Yes.
Even though I was at work, even though I was still doing the thing. But because we just all connected so well, and they were excited to see me, and I was excited to see them. You know what I mean? It just makes such a difference when you literally vibe, when your vibrations literally go together. It makes things so much easier.
Yeah.
Which, do you know what resonance means?
I think I do, but maybe I don't.
I always hear like, oh, well, that resonates me, or if that resonates with you. Apparently that's a scientific term, maybe scientific, that when two things are vibrating at the same time or at neutral to each other, that's considered resonance. So if something is literally meeting you at the right vibration, you resonate.
So on a scientific level, it's when you're vibrating at the same pace.
It's like thinking about two tuning forks. Who are identical at the identical vibration, vibrating at the same time. You can almost hear only just one. Or feel only just one. That's resonance. So if you if something resonates with you, it's because it's at a frequency that you are at.
I can understand that. It feels like much deeper than, oh, I understand that, or oh, I've been there, done that.
So now, again, these words that I've kind of used and heard, but not really put too much thought behind. There you go. So that's kind of one way. The first thing is that affirmations. The other one that goes along with that, I told you what it was and I don't remember now.
We talked about mindfulness. We talked about gratitude. We talked about meditation. We talked about crystals. We talked about sound.
So all of those things. So just some other ways to work on your vibration, which we're going to go over in kind of a series. Some of these are going to be much bigger and some of these are going to be a little bit smaller. There's meditation. There's practicing mindfulness. There's gratitude. There's getting out in nature, which nature naturally goes at it vibrates at a higher resonance, frequency. We talk about the affirmations, and ways of getting rid of and working on like getting rid of the things that are lower vibrations, letting go of limiting beliefs, that sort of thing. So, which I think kind of goes along with the affirmations. If you are affirming yourself that you're you're doing these things, that can help get rid of the limiting beliefs, which again, I think we can go into at another time. But that's kind of all I have.
Okay. I like that. I mean, I think there was a lot to kind of unpack there to even just understand really where we start to understand where vibrations come from, what they mean, how we can get there. And then if we want to unpack that a little bit more in the series with each of these different steps, that could be really cool.
Definitely. Oh, I just want to put out there, part of what I learned this from is Science and Spirituality podcast.
Yes.
Episode 256. They actually do a whole episode on vibration, the scientific ways to raise your vibration, strengthen your energy, and thrive as your best self. They go really like a deep dive into this, and it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend that series because they get way into the more science than we're gonna get into. That's not really the point of this podcast, but
no, they do a really good job with that. With highlighting those things. So
yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Well, so tune in to the next time because we're gonna decide what we're gonna do next as far as which way to help increase your vibrations. So going to be a couple of different episodes on this, and if anybody out there has some more information, I'm sure somebody understood this way more than I do and will tell me. But be kind. Still learning.
That's the point. Give us the information.
Nicely.
Yes. Give us some suggestions and we'll keep building on this.
Yeah. So stay tuned and we'll see you next time.
All right. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.